We're the Lockwoods, and for the past 3.5 years, we've been traveling the world to experience up close and in person all the natural wonders and distinct cultures that our kids would otherwise see only in textbooks and TV. And this is a very unique shot for us. This may be the first time that you have ever seen us actually walking in frame at the same time without one of us holding the camera in selfie mode. And no, we did not hire a camera person. We'll explain how we're doing it in a little bit, but first, let's sit down and talk about the actual theme for today's episode.
We're gonna give you a behind-the-scenes life update on what's been going on with us this past year and what we have planned for 2024. You might have been following us on our Instagram, and so you might think you have an idea of what we're doing, but we're gonna give you an in-depth look.
This is stuff that we don't typically talk about. And by the way, we are doing it basically outside of our home here in Denver, Colorado, and it is probably
freezing!
44 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it's probably like 3 degrees Celsius or something.
Send me somewhere tropical.
It's kind of cold, so. How about if we start off with me doing a review, what happened in 2023? Maybe just a little bit into 2024, since we're already a little bit into 2024.
It's crazy to think what we did in a whole year. Because going back to January of 2023, we started off with a bang.
Gonna refer to our list here. Obviously, we still have our home in Denver. Many of you, most of you probably know that we also now have a second home in Metro Manila, Philippines. Yay. Very excited, long time coming. Here was a big change for us in 2024, the kids' school, or at least Brooklyn and Cole. Reagan still going to in-person school, literally within eye shot of where we're sitting right now. You can see the top of her high school. And Reagan, of course, for those of you who don't know, is from my first marriage. She just turned 17 years old. Her mom also lives in this neighborhood. So we're living in this neighborhood until she goes off to college. She's probably not going to be going to college here in Colorado, which means once she's gone, there's really no reason for us to stay here since Colorado's not a place for us.
It's too cold for me. I got like wind issues with my hair. It's sticking to my lip gloss.
Okay, back to school. So we tracked down, I should say Aaron tracked down, after lots and lots of work, a really great online private school out of Arizona called Ignite Learning Academy. So Brooklyn and Colt have been in that program. It's been a really good program. They have both synchronous and asynchronous learning, which means Brooklyn and Colt actually can be online with teachers giving live lessons in a classroom environment, online classroom environment, so basically like a Zoom, and they can hear teachers firsthand explaining all of the subject matter and do the school that way. Or they can choose to watch recordings later.
It's so flexible, really, and they can go at their own pace. They really get to control how they study and how they do their schoolwork.
If that sounds like any kind of a scenario that you might be interested in, by the way, we have an entire page on our website that explains it in more detail and gives you an option to actually request a one-on-one conversation with a school administrator. So just go to followabc.com/school for more information. Next. All right, let's talk about where we went in 2023. And again, maybe some of this is gonna bleed into 2024 for January, maybe a little bit of February in a few instances, but for the most part, this is what we did last year. Number of continents we traveled to last year would be 3.
That's not bad.
Not bad. I think it's gonna be a lot more going forward. We'll talk about that later. And by the way, that really only puts our total number of continents after 3.5 years of travel at 4, which I think surprises a lot of people because they would think, with the amount of traveling that we've been doing, maybe we would have hit at least 6 and potentially all 7. Not yet. Not yet.
We have so much more to go.
The continents that we did hit this year would be North America.
North America.
We're going to talk about the US and North America even more generally. We're not trying to get that on a technicality because we live here. We're only counting places that we traveled within or to and produced episodes for. So in that respect, we get to count it. So yeah, North America,
Asia,
and finally,
Africa. That was a brand new continent for us. That was an incredible trip. Loved it. Like amazing memories I know that we're all 4 gonna have with us for life.
Let's talk about the specific countries within those, okay? Because we made episodes in 10 different countries in 2023. All right, we went to Thailand for the first time ever.
Yes. Yeah, that was an amazing trip because of the elephant sanctuary that we went to. I mean, it was great to go to Thailand for the first time. We went to Bangkok, we had that market, the night market, and then we went to the elephant sanctuary and we stayed in a bubble, and that was awesome.
Slept right next to the elephants, or maybe we should say they slept right next to us.
They cuddled next to our bubble.
They didn't cuddle with us, they cuddled with each other.
Yeah.
And then Philippines, not our first time to the Philippines, obviously not our last time to the Philippines, but I think it was our second time to the Philippines.
It was, and that's where we met our besties, Mom Duty, and we had a trip down to Don Sol to swim with whale sharks, unsuccessfully, but it was still a fantastic trip and still worth seeing and worth doing and going there.
We went to Siargao for the first time.
Yeah, awesome. Island hopping, it was gorgeous there, so much fun.
Spent some time in BGC.
Yeah.
That, of course, ended up becoming our home. We'll talk about that more in a bit. Vietnam.
So Vietnam was a tough trip for us because Colt was sick and Phil and Brooklyn went off to do a food tour episode on their own because I had to stay home with Colt. Brooklyn ended up being a little bit sick, and then I ended up getting whatever Colt had and was super sick.
I was the only one who was fine.
I know. So I feel like we're gonna need a Vietnam redemption sometime soon because there's so much more to explore than just Hanoi where we went. And also, like, as a country, like, we want to have an amazing experience in Vietnam, and we know it's out there for us.
That was a short trip anyway, and then yeah, it got cut even shorter for you guys because of the illness. In addition to Hanoi, by the way, we also did Ha Long Bay, a bay cruise.
And that is one of the 7 wonders of the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it one of the natural?
One of the 7 new wonders of the world, I believe. Yeah, one of 7 new wonders of nature.
Yeah.
And we have visited what, 3 or 4 of them?
I think 3.
3 total. India.
Oh my gosh, insane trip. We were there for, I think, a little over 2 weeks. It was such an incredible cultural experience, and I think it was one of Brooklyn's favorite travel experiences that we've had when we went and met a family in a very, very small village. Did cook some bread on the ground. She held their baby. She loves those really cultural experiences and the fashion. She wore a sari every chance she could, and then she wore a bindi dot the whole time.
I have mixed feelings on our India trip. I absolutely loved it overall, and the people there were incredibly friendly. I will say that so far, as far as countries that we have been to, let's call it government, you know, or officials, so that could be security, airport officials, police, whatever, gave me the least welcoming vibe, I think.
Really?
So far. Yes. It soured part of it for me, but it was more than made up for by the fact that all of the citizens, the residents, were incredibly nice, especially, of course, my friend Sachin and his family, and just, I mean, how incredible they were to drive us around, show us so many things, and just to spend so much time with us right when we got there. One other thing, I carried my drone around India for those entire however many weeks it was that we were there.
Did we?
Couldn't use it once because, I mean, there were so many places we couldn't even use our Sony camera, let alone drones. But let's talk about that for a second, because this little guy is called the Hover Air X1. So this is what we were just using to film us. And they don't even call it a drone, by the way. And they are sponsoring this episode. They sent us this drone. We get to say whatever we want to say about it, good, bad, ugly, whatever. But it's truly a game changer for a lot of types of users. So I'm already having fun using it.
It's adorable. I think it looks like a Lego piece.
They call it the pocket-sized camera. So it's the Hover Air X1 pocket-sized camera. I literally can put it right in here and still have plenty of room for my hand. I mean, there's no remote control. There is an app that we were using, and you can actually fly it without the app. I mean, I could do it right now, and in fact, here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to just turn it on. So I just press and hold this to turn it on. Light's gonna come up here, and I'm just gonna switch modes. So there are only 2 buttons on this entire thing. And besides the power button, you just have a mode button, and then you have 5 different modes across the top, plus a custom. So we'll consider that our 6th one.
Custom.
Now this one that we were using. The dolly track. The dolly shot allows us to walk while it just moves backwards as if it's on rails. I'm gonna switch this by, you just push that mode button.
Zoom out.
Zoom out.
Follow.
Follow.
Orbit.
Orbit.
Bird eye.
Bird eye. Let's do bird eye.
Okay.
Okay? So all I have to do is hold it in my palm, and I'm gonna press this button 1 time. I'm gonna wait.
16 feet. Bird eye.
Ta-da!
And that's all there is to it.
And
then I'll turn it off, and you can put it back in your pocket. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, it's so small, it's so light, there's no excuse to not have a drone with you if you have one of these.
What I love about it, besides the fact that it's so small and compact, is that it's hands-free, right? So we carry our little drone around, or our big drone, depending on which month it is, but you have to have a remote, and so it's really hard for us to do anything else, like with another camera. But with this, you just do that, and it's hands-free. It'll film you, you can walk with the follow modes. We'll demonstrate some more of these in a little bit. And this one is like half the weight of that threshold for like needing additional licenses and registrations. That's a 249 gram limit basically on other drones. This one's half of that, 125 grams. These props are so tiny in there, and the whole thing is so lightweight, and it has the cage around all of these. I mean, you could literally smack your face into it on purpose and you're not gonna get hurt. So I would be comfortable trying to get away with using this someplace. Hover would probably say don't say this because they're like, follow all the rules and regulations, but I'm very often more of a ask for forgiveness than permission kind of person. So I would try this like out on the street, kind of downtown, in certain downtown areas, maybe in Denver on 16th Street Mall. I would maybe even try this on High Street in BGC because you could just take it out,
If we can do it.
let it do an orbit shot or a little dolly shot, put it back in your pocket, you're done. No one's gonna get hurt because it's so lightweight. I love it. We had just finished up India. The next one is USA. So again, yes, we live here, but we're not counting Denver, we're not counting Colorado, I don't think, because we didn't really do episodes here.
And we still traveled far.
Yeah.
We went to Hawaii.
We went to Hawaii, we went to Florida. Was that it for episodes? We did
In the US.
the Seaside, Florida, which was the real life soundstage of the Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show. Japan.
Oh my gosh, that was an awesome trip. We went out there, we met up with Mom Duty. We also went our separate ways and got back together. So it was like we did our own thing and we did a lot together.
Best of both worlds.
It was. I mean, that trip was awesome.
When people say, what's your favorite country so far? To our entire family, I would say about 50% of the time the answer ends up being Japan. I mean, obviously,
The food.
there's something different about the Philippines, which is why we have a home there now and not a home in Japan. Just in terms of where the culture is super unique, Japan is just next level. Not just cool, but just different. It is so interesting how, like, the culture there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
A lot of kindness, and can't emphasize how good the food is there.
Singapore, multiple times. I mean, I guess one of those was 2022. That was our first visit to Singapore, but then we've been there, I think, multiple times in 2023, right?
But 2024, we did 24 hours in the airport.
Well, I think it just retook the top spot, top airport in the world. Kind of goes back and forth sometimes, but no question as to why. I mean, come on. You got Michelin-starred restaurants, one of the best airport hotels I've ever seen, and just everything there. You could spend days there without leaving the airport. Indonesia.
And that was awesome because that was our first trip to Indonesia and Bali. We know that that is a big bucket list for a lot of people, and we had a great time in Uluwatu, and then we went to Ubud, and we stayed in this gorgeous villa there with our besties, and then we went on to actually go to the Philippines before going back to Jakarta before we flew home.
That villa, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the square footage or the square meter size of that, but it was something nuts like 15,000 square feet or whatever.
It probably includes like the yoga deck. We did a whole yoga session with both families, and that yoga deck is huge, but it's like overlooking the jungle and the canyon, and there's a river below, and couldn't have been more pretty.
By the way, speaking of drones, 2023 was a very bad year for me in drones.
Really?
I mean,
You've had
they've all
worse years.
They've all The difference is past years I have lost drones, crashing them, losing them, like dropping them into the ocean on multiple occasions, things like that.
And I think he just landed the drone in the ocean. Oops. So there he is now. He's out there looking for the drone.
2023, we basically started the year off with a brand new drone, a bigger, fancier drone that was gonna get us some very cool, unique shots. If you wanna see some of those, I think we ended up only being able to use it in one episode, and that was El Nido, Nakpan beach glamping.
Huh, okay.
So yeah, some cool shots there. As soon as I got it, we went to Bali, and I was going to fly it, and I needed to charge the batteries. And this is the very first drone I've ever had where the USB-C port on the side actually won't let you charge it. You have to use the big separate charger port that allows you to plug in 3 different batteries and charge them all at the same time. And I didn't bring it because I never need to charge 3 batteries at the same time. So I'm like thinking, I'll just use the USB-C port to charge it. So here we are, international, in Bali with this huge setup that I'm carrying around all over the place. Can't even use it. I was hoping that maybe Nelvin, maybe one of his drone batteries would be compatible with mine. That's Nelvin Ocampo from Mom Duty. They were not, his was too different. I was hoping that maybe at least his charger would work. It did not. So we couldn't do any drone footage whatsoever on that whole trip. And I think we only ended up using 1 drone shot, and that was one that Nelvin gave us from his drone when we were in Ubud. We took it to India. Couldn't use it in India. Never even took it out of the suitcase. Yeah. We couldn't take it to South Africa because you couldn't use it around any of the animals in the safari. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very drone dry year for us in 2023, but we've switched things up.
Yeah, 2024 is gonna be different.
We went back to a small drone for this year, and of course we've got this one for playing around in other areas also. Okay, so this one has an asterisk, and I don't even think we count it in our 10, but I'll have to add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, this one's not, this is like a bonus, sort of, 11, because we don't count it. Technically, we were in Hong Kong, but we never left the airport.
Never left the airport, so I don't think it counts.
It doesn't count. No. That's why it has an asterisk, and that's why it's not part of the 10.
Doesn't count.
All right, one that does count, Malaysia. Also our first time in Malaysia.
Yeah, and that was a great trip because we had unique experiences. We had to experience Kuala Lumpur. We did the cave diving in Ipoh, and that was a really cool experience. It was also a lot of challenges in it, and you broke your butt.
I have a broken tailbone, in case you didn't know. That's when it happened.
Careful! You okay, babe?
And it's not my first time breaking my tailbone. Erin has broken hers before too.
Well, and then also after that, we went to Penang Island, which was a great cultural experience for us.
And to round out the 10, of course, South Africa. It was more than a safari for us. The safari was epic.
It was epic, and it was my dream. That was my #1 bucket list item that I wanted to do, and it did not disappoint. It exceeded expectations. It was the best trip of my life.
I would have to agree. So I was gonna say, we need to say what our favorite trip was. And by the way, the terminology here matters. So this is why I say a lot of times we say Japan for answers to these questions, but it all depends on how people ask the question. So is it, what's your favorite country? What was your favorite trip so far?
Those are all different.
Favorite people, favorite experience, all of these things. So yeah, that's why. So, you know, people, you can't beat the Philippines. Filipinos are awesome.
Aww.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm so cold.
But besides the safari experience in South Africa, we spent a good amount of time in Johannesburg and Cape Town, and I have to say those are 2 of the coolest cities we have been to. People were very nice. It's still pretty chilly out here. I think we should go inside.
Yes!
And that'll give us an opportunity to play around with the drone with some more shots.
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna try the orbit, so where it goes in a circle around us. All right, so it just goes in a nice big circle around us. This is one of my favorite drone shots. And what it's gonna do is a single pass all the way around. So you just put your hand out at the very end there and it will land on your hand. Everything is basically gesture based. So cool. All right, let's pack this up and go.
Well, I'm still freezing and I can't wait to get back in the house and turn on the fireplace, and then we will continue with what we did in 2023 and move on to 2024 plans.
There we go. Better?
Yes.
All right, let's pull our list back up and continue. That covers all of the countries, all of the continents that we hit in 2023. So on to some other things that happened in that year outside of the specifics of where we traveled to. We decided to set up a second home in Metro Manila, of course.
Emphasize the word decided because it took a lot longer than expected to actually get it.
Technically, we had signed a lease in 2023 in December, but the owner of the place never signed it, and then we totally got screwed out of it at the last minute. If you haven't seen those episodes, you can certainly watch them, which brings me to the next point, which is that we also set up a second YouTube channel called Live the Philippines. And the whole idea here was we were ending up with so much Philippines content on our main Always Be Changing channel, and it didn't really sit right with us. We know for a fact it wasn't sitting right with some of our viewers who wanted to see a wider range of places.
And it was different, it was a different type of vlogging. Like it was more daily life that we wanted to do with our experiences in the Philippines, which is different than Always Be Changing, which is an international family travel channel.
Now, coincidentally, we just finished up 4 straight episodes from the Philippines on this channel, but that's it. The only reason that we did that really was because we had a pre-existing, pre-arranged sponsorship from Guide to the Philippines, and they wanted it on the ABC channel. So that was kind of a one last hurrah kind of situation. Moving forward, we're gonna be very, very selective about any Philippines content that we put on the Always Be Changing channel. It still counts as a great country. It still fits within the ABC model. But I think that maybe 1 trip per year maximum from the Philippines feels about right for me. I think that's a pretty good sweet spot that would give us enough variety then moving forward on ABC so that it feels much more international, which was always the vision, always the intent, and everything else will go on Live the Philippines. So our episode's all about our BGC apartment hunt. Those live on Live the Philippines. We talked a little bit about what our favorite country or trip was for 2023. Do you have a favorite episode?
So that's hard to say because I spend so much time on every episode and there are so many that stand out to me. I mean, it'd be easy for me to pick any number of our safari episodes. So maybe outside of that, I really loved the spelunking, the cave exploring one. I know that was not your favorite. That might be his least favorite and my favorite. I just love that it was so different than anything else we'd done. And it was a huge challenge editing wise, huge challenge filming with the sound and the lighting. And but I think that we pulled through. I think we came through and made a good episode.
I think there are any number of episodes that I could choose as my favorite for 2023, but one that comes to mind right away would be Osaka. And the reason for that is there are just so many different dynamics to that episode that I really like. Number one, it was very interesting. Osaka was very interesting. It's very visual, so I think that makes for good content. Number two, the pacing I think was fantastic. Super exciting, constant action from beginning to end. And number three,
it's just so fascinating.
It's my favorite sponsor integration that we've done yet.
Oh yeah, brilliant, brilliant writing on your part.
Our sponsor for that episode was Safety Wing, so it's basically travel insurance, nomad insurance, health insurance. And what was cool is you watch it, and I think that a lot of people would kind of assume that we just made it up on the spot because it was truly integrated into what we were doing. Walking through the streets of Osaka, and we already had this script for everything that we were walking past, and we filmed it kind of in chunks in all of these areas so that we could get all of that footage and put it together.
It's enough to make anyone mad, even this guy.
What we ended up with was something that just flowed so beautifully. You almost don't know it's an ad until it's obvious that it's an ad, and by then it's like you're still just watching the episode anyway. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you should
but
be.
I really enjoyed it. It's such a great example for other sponsors, but I just think it really just made the episode because the whole thing just flowed so organically.
It did, and it was brilliant writing on his part that he actually wrote hours before we filmed it. Oh, that reminds me of another favorite episode of mine would have to be Brooklyn's birthday. In June in Uluwatu, Bali, and then our friends flew out and they surprised her, and it was an epic moment for all of us, and the whole surprise went off so perfectly, and her reaction, her emotions, it was beautiful.
The emotional component of that really was unparalleled.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some channel metrics, and these are always just kind of interesting. So first of all, let's talk about subscribers, total subscribers. We started 2023 with about 50,000 subscribers, which was already fantastic growth for us.
My mind is blown thinking about how much we grew that 2023.
We ended 2023 with about 220,000 subscribers, which obviously means somewhere in the middle there, in between the beginning and the end, we actually got our first 100,000 subscribers and our very first YouTube Creator Award, which you can see right back there on the shelf. I got it, it's right there. Total number of views. This is different for us, and we actually don't really talk about this metric very much because we don't do shorts, and a lot of channels do shorts, and it totally throws off the value or the meaning of this metric. We almost hit 12 million views by the end of 2023. We're now over 12 million total views, and that's almost categorically long-form episode views.
It's insane.
But what I like more is that we crossed over 1 million watch hours in 23, which means, and this is just really hard to kind of wrap your head around. If you had one person sitting and watching your episodes, they would have to do it for 1 million hours to equal the amount of time people have spent watching our episodes. And now we're past that, but that's a really cool metric.
And this is a really good place to say thank you and express our gratitude for that, because we wouldn't be doing this without you. So thank you for watching, and thank you for engaging with us, and thank you for subscribing. Whatever your participation in our channel is, we're so grateful for it.
As long as we're thanking people, I would like to thank the folks over at 00 Robotics for sending us our Hover Air X1. It really is a cool device that we're going to use.
You're welcome for that transition.
And they didn't just give us the little piece that I've had in my pocket. We got this combo pack, which you can see here. And it consists of the Hover Air X1. It has a handy little carrying case. It has a USB-C cable, and because this is the combo kit, it also has the battery charging hub so that we can charge both batteries at once, which of course means that in addition to the battery that's in the drone right now, they gave us a second one. So we've got all of that stuff here that we get to play around with. It's a nice little combo, and we'll include a link so that you can go buy one if you want to on your own. Pricing is gonna vary from time to time. Right now, these things are on sale for a really good price. I think it's like $3.99, but to see what the current pricing is when you want to shop, that will just depend on when you actually go to the website and look it up. I mentioned the batteries on this thing, and it comes with the 2 batteries. Each one lasts for 11 minutes, which is certainly shorter, maybe like 1/2 to 1/3 of the battery life for some of our other drones, but I actually think it makes sense, and this is why. With our other drones, we're gonna put it in the air, and we're usually like flying way out, maybe over the ocean, so that we can do this huge shot coming in over the ocean, over the resort. You're flying for a lot longer. Because of the short shots, functionality of this one, you don't need it to last that long. It's not in the air nearly as long. So we've been flying this one for 2 days now, and I think that the battery, the first battery, is only about half drained, even after the stuff that we were doing out here for this episode. So 11 minutes goes a long way on this. And having 2 of those batteries, I think, is more than enough for you to carry around to do anything that you're gonna do around town with filming with this thing.
Quality, not quantity.
Now, here is one thing that I actually would like to see changed at some point. The camera on this is 2.7K, which is actually pretty good, especially for a camera of this size. My only concern is that the image quality, especially with a very small sensor like you're gonna have on a little drone like this, compared to our professional Sony camera, is gonna be very noticeable. Now, if you're one of those creators who films most of your stuff on an iPhone or on a GoPro, I think you're gonna have very similar image quality, so you won't have that contrast that makes it as noticeable. That also brings up an interesting point about who the target audience for this is, because it's not just creators like us. In fact, I would venture a guess that it's not even primarily for creators like us. This is a great everyday drone that you can use if you want to film your kids' sporting events or backyard activities.
Good idea.
Or just walking around. So this is a good everyday camera for anybody who just wants to record some of life's experiences. You don't have to be a professional YouTuber, vlogger, or anything like that to use it. So I think that's pretty cool. So pretty much everything that we've talked about so far was 2023, but since we're a little bit into 2024 already, we should mention a couple of other things that have happened since then.
Yeah.
Number one, we have already touched on this one, but we officially moved into our BGC apartment.
We're residents. Speaking of getting back there, we are gonna be back in like, what, 9 days?
9 days from filming this, so it'll be probably less than a week from the moment you see this, if you're watching this when it's a brand new episode. And we threw a massive party while we were out there, so our very first worldwide meet and greet in coordination with our friends, the Ocampos at Mom Duty. We had over 500 people register for this event. I don't think anybody did an official count of who actually showed up, but it was a big crowd. We had a big venue, rooftop, downtown, BGC, so in Metro Manila, and we were right above the Philippine Stock Exchange, right off of High Street. Couldn't have been a more beautiful setting.
No.
And we took it from nice sunset time right into the evening. We had such a great time meeting hundreds of our most loyal subscribers and viewers. It was such an incredible party.
We had so much drama leading up to it, but it went off without a hitch, and it was just a really, really fun party. We got to know so many of our followers, and we loved it. We loved getting to know you. We can't wait to have another party like that.
There was one other big change in January, but I'm gonna let somebody else tell you about that one. All right, Colt, what did you launch in 2024?
Ooh, I started my new channel and I posted a few videos then. You should go check it out. It's Colt in the Wild.
How would you describe the nature of the channel? What's the theme?
Catching geckos, lizards, and just all reptiles, but all animals.
What's your favorite episode you've launched so far?
Definitely the Can I Catch Tokays in Palin.
I know that we didn't ask you this in advance, but what trip would you say was your favorite in 2023?
Definitely South Africa. It was
Why?
amazing. One, our guide was just so nice, and I kept seeing animals like skinks and monitors everywhere. It was so fun.
What's been your least favorite part of traveling in the past year?
Jet lag. That's honestly it. Just jet lag. It's the only thing I dislike.
What's one place you would really like to visit in 2024?
New Caledonia. New Caledonia is where they have the most giant lychee geckos in the world. They are everywhere in New Caledonia, and I really want to catch one. Giant lychee geckos are like 3 feet long though.
And how badly do you want to play with my new drone?
Pretty badly. It's pretty cool, and I've seen it on YouTube, so that makes it even more exciting.
Let's get over for a second.
So I can use it?
Well, I don't know, but here's what I'm thinking. So I've already demonstrated a couple of the different modes on this, but it has, like I said, 6 different modes if you count the custom. And custom technically has more than one mode built in. You can do the dolly, you can do complete manual flying, or you can do snapshots for pictures. But
Current mode, orbit,
the orbit we showed you.
bird eye,
Bird eye would be a cool one, like from above when you're trying to catch a lizard.
hover,
Hover is really cool because I could see you using that one in a lot of instances, but this is one area where the app would come into play. The app is going to be important for a couple of things. Number one, there is no SD card on here, so the only way that you can access the footage that you take is through the app. And it'll transfer it via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi over to your phone and put it right into your normal photo album so that you can do whatever you want from there, share it on social media, edit, that sort of thing. If you go into settings for each one of these modes, you can change a couple of things. Number one, for shots like orbit or bird's eye, you can control how far away the camera or the drone will get from you.
Yeah.
So you can get different types of shots that way. You can also control, in many of these instances, how high or low the camera or the drone is going to be. So if I wanted to do that dolly shot that we started this episode with the camera lower and looking slightly up at us, we could do that. We can do it straight on, or we could do it with the drone up in the air a little bit so it's kind of looking down at us. All of those settings need to take place through the app, but once you've set them, you can still put your phone away, and it's gonna recognize those until you actually change them.
Can I try it right now?
Yeah, take it and go play. Other things that we've got on the books. Okay, first of all, let's talk about always be changing. I think that some people probably suspect that now that we have the LTP channel and we've got this part-time life in the Philippines, that maybe we're gonna be a bit distracted. And I could certainly understand people feeling that way just based on January of 2024, because with the holidays coming through and then us trying to find an apartment in BGC, we certainly did have a little bit of a slowdown in cadence on the Always Be Changing channel.
Yeah.
But it is definitely not a direction that we're willing to go, because we are, I think, more and more dedicated and enthused about exploring the entire world than ever.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we've realized that Always Be Changing has always been a bit of a hodgepodge in terms of structure, where we do a few trips maybe in the US, down to Mexico, Belize, we end up in Europe, and then the next thing you know, we're back over here. We're just constantly jetting around, and it's a real hodgepodge. There's no structure to it, never has been. We want to change that going forward for a few reasons. Number one, we think that we have a really great idea that's a compelling model for sponsorships or partnerships. Number two, this new structure will allow us to visit more of the world every single year. And number three, I think it makes a more compelling story for our viewers when they can see some sort of structure to it. Something that's not just episodic structure, but that takes us through an entire year, an entire season, And even a bit beyond that, year after year after year, it's a cohesive story. We can't go into a lot of detail on what it is right now, partly because we don't have all of the plans in place. We've just created the structure for it, and so now we're talking to partners and trying to make it a reality. But I'm very excited about it, and I mean, honestly, I still feel like ABC is our main focus in terms of channels. And LTP is just a really cool way for us to be able to produce additional content when we are very close to our Manila home.
And I love how it's so different. I love doing the daily stuff. I love doing the makeover and
On LTP.
On LTP, yeah, and it's so different than ABC.
But even with a strong lifestyle component to LTP, we're still gonna be doing a ton of exploration, so true travel, even throughout the 7,000 islands of the Philippines.
Next month, we are doing a huge road trip in northern Luzon. We cannot wait. There are so many cool sceneries and cultures and a really big surprise in that one. And also next month, we're going to another country. So we have a lot to look forward to on both channels.
Still working out the details of that particular trip, but hopefully you're subscribed to both the Always Be Changing channel that you're watching right now and Live the Philippines if that's your cup of tea. Either way, thanks so much for joining us for this really fun life update. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of information and insight behind the scenes stuff for our family and what's going on. But we look forward to seeing you on future episodes.
That's right, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Let's jump back into our countries. We had just finished up India.
All right, but I'm cold. Can we go inside?
No, not yet.
Damn it. Is that a bald eagle? Oh my gosh. That is a bald eagle. That's one good thing about Colorado.
Yeah, no way you're gonna be able to see it, especially with this lens that high up. But it's kind of a big deal here because that's our national bird.
Holy smokes, there are more of them. These are, so there are 3 total bald eagles. Right above our house, actually.